Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo Story. Will the ice break between India and Pakistan? Foreign Minister S Jaishankar will be flying to Pakistan today for taking part in the SCO summit meeting. He'll be speaking in that meeting tomorrow, and is also might actually take join the dinner that will be hosted by Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Now, this is the first visit of any foreign minister of India in last 10 years to Pakistan. The relationship has seen a downward spiral over the last few years, particularly after the Pulwama terror attack and the abrogation of Article 370. To discuss more, we are joined by Alok Bansal. Welcome to the show, Alok ji. He's the director of India Foundation, of course. Alok ji, now S. Jaishankar has made it clear that he'll be visiting Pakistan and there is not going to be any bilateral. But given the Indo Pakistan history and the context, it's very unpredictable. Do you think there is any scope of an ice breaking between the two countries?
See, meetings are always important. So when you meet, you get to know each other. You can always have some polite conversation, especially if he's staying put for dinner. He would have a chance to converse with the Pakistani Prime Minister. And as he has said very clearly, that he's going to be civil and polite, he'll adhere to the norms. So I think it could, there is a possibility that it could probably start a process of normalization. But it all depends, as I said earlier also, that it all depends on Pakistan army. Eventually, they have the veto power. They are the arbiter whether India-Pakistan relations have to improve or not. It's a fact that at this point of time, Pakistani army is overstretched. They would want to sue for peace. They may ask the Prime Minister to go ahead and reach out to India. Uh, but the political situation is so murky that it will be difficult for any political party to reach out to India without being accused of compromising Pakistan's core interests. And that's an issue. So it's a coalition government. Uh, Eventually, depends what army wants. So there is a possibility that there could be some breakthrough, but it's only a remote possibility.
Right. And Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, ahead of the SCO meet, has said that Palestine is a priority as a Kashmir is for us. So clearly they have stuck to the use of K word. Whenever such sort of exchange take place, they have uh, not missed out on Kashmir. Foreign Minister, Pakistan Foreign Minister, making it clear. But Nawaz Sharif, on the other hand, who heads the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, and who's the main politician in that country right now, is calling the shots, maybe, although his brother is the prime minister, in a statement to Barkhadat of Mojo Story, said that he would have wanted Prime Minister Modi also to be there in Pakistan and did not mention Kashmir word at all. How do you see the two things?
See, Nawaz Sharif is a sensible politician. He knows that Pakistan can only come out of the woods if they have normal economic relations with India. He
Yeah,
realizes that. He also realizes that this grip, vice-like grip of Pakistan army on the body politic of Pakistan can only be loosened if there are good relations with India. He
right.
has suffered at the hands of army. He has been removed by army directly or indirectly in the past. So
Yeah,
he understands what the dynamics is. He is a pragmatic politician. In the past, also, he has tried to improve relations with India. But he is not in control. He cannot take decisions. Let's be very frank. If he
right.
was in control, he would have been the Prime Minister of Pakistan. The army prevented him from becoming the Prime Minister. His brother is Prime Minister. He's, despite Nawaz Sharif being the real popular leader, being the leader of the party, he is not the Prime Minister. So that's a fact that as far as India Pakistan relations are concerned, they're not decided from Islamabad, but from Rawalpindi. So
Right.
Rawalpindi will take the final call whether they want to improve relations or not.
Right. And as far as India's foreign minister is concerned. Of course, in that uh, address, he will raise the issue of terrorism. That's what India has been saying right from the first day, that till the time terrorism comes from Pakistan, there is no scope of improving the relation. Talks and terror cannot go together.
See, there is no doubt, and he would raise this issue. And SCO's charter is to deal with terrorism. In fact, one of the SCO and terrorism is one of the factors to deal with which SCO was created. So obviously, India is well within its rights to talk about terrorism. And if Pakistan wishes to bring extraneous issues, bilateral issues, it will be actually a violation of the spirit of SCO. So that is for Pakistan to decide. Terrorism is a big issue and we need to highlight it. In fact, there is no doubt about it that India would definitely like to highlight that.
Right. And the internal situation of Pakistan, we cannot miss to focus on that. What is happening in Pakistan, particularly for the last couple of years, the political instability, the economic turmoil that the country is faced with, of course, impacts not on the internal situation, the way that they are dealing with terrorism and other security related issues, but also has an impact externally. Do you think that will rather create some sort of influence on Pakistan's army, as you say that they are the final people who call the shots, to take a call on this issue?
See, there is no doubt Pakistan has a major problem in hand, both in all fields, actually. If you look at it economically, they have come out of the woods because of IMF bailout. They've got some dole from Saudi Arabia, UAE, China. But the fact is, borrowing more to solve problems of today without making structural differences will not enhance Pakistan's economy. And Pakistan's economic growth always has been import dependent. So you can see that any year when Pakistan's GDP rises substantially, you have a foreign exchange crunch. And
Right.
that's been the case. I think Pakistan's economy can only come out of the woods when they have normal trading relations with South Asia. And meaning, when we say South Asia, meaning India, that's important. And
Right.
the trade relations with India have been uh, curtailed because of political and military reasons. As far as political issues are concerned, I think there is not even an iota of doubt that the most popular politician continues to be Imran Khan. If there was a free and fair elections, he would win hands down. He is in jail, so youngsters especially are extremely perturbed. On the security front, you have seen what's happening in Baluchistan. It's been turned virtually into a police state. Today, police can detain anyone for 3 months without any charges, anything. So they have been given blanket powers. And as a result, we keep seeing turbulence happening. Even in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, now the PTM has been banned, which was actually a peaceful organization which had two MPs in the past. So I really don't know what they're trying to do, whether army is trying to use the stick rather than the carrot to deal with these issues. Uh, I don't think so. Brute military power can resolve issues ever in this sort of a situation. And this sort of an instability will prevent Pakistan from actually coming out with great offer as far as India is concerned. Although military, because of its overstretch, may want peace with India.
Right. That's an important point to make. We're also joined at this point by Zafar Chaudhry, senior journalist and editor of The Dispatch. Welcome to the show, Zafar Saab. But before I uh, ask you a question, would want to use that walkabout that Barkha Dutt sent from Pakistan yesterday after meeting with Nawaz Sharif.
In Lahore, we are at the Punjab Chief Minister's office. The Chief Minister, of course, is Maryam Nawaz Sharif, the daughter of former Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, whose brother is the present Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif. Now, we have a big exclusive here at the Mojo Story. I have just met with both Mr. Nawaz Sharif and Ms. Maryam Nawaz Sharif, and the statement I have from them is something that I think will be reflected on quite carefully and with interest in India, hours before Foreign Minister Jaishankar is scheduled to arrive here to attend the SCO summit. Now, even though both countries have made it clear that this is not about a bilateral relationship. In fact, Mr. Jaishankar was categorical that he's not coming here to talk about India-Pakistan relations, and he is expected in his speech to talk about India's concerns on terrorism. The statement from Nawaz Sharif, made exclusively to me and the Mojo story, is something that we need to share with a larger audience and is something that is significant. Nawaz Sharif says, I have always been a supporter of good relations with India. I hope that there is an opportunity to revive our relationship. It would have been a great thing if Prime Minister Modi had also attended the SCO summit here in Pakistan. I do hope that he, being Prime Minister Modi, and us will have an opportunity to sit together in the not so distant future. This is a statement that Nawaz Sharif made to me in response to questions that I asked him in an interaction with him and his daughter, the Punjab Chief Minister here in Pakistan. And what is significant to note is this. Over the last year, Nawaz Sharif has been issuing statements that have been watched with great interest in India. In May of this year, he actually went on record to say that what happened after the Lahore Declaration was a betrayal of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was talking, of course, about how the Kargil war followed the Lahore bus ride. And he actually said that what happened in Kargil was a violation of the Lahore Agreement. And he went so far as to say that it was Pakistan's fault. Now, this is something that India did respond to. India said that a more objective view was emerging in Pakistan about what had happened in the Kargil war. In 2023, Nawaz Sharif also once again complimented India, and he spoke about how there was India that was reaching for the moon quite literally, and there was Pakistan that was literally, in a sense, at the opposite end of the spectrum. And once again in that speech too, he said Pakistan was to blame for its own crises, for its own downfall. So Nawaz Sharif's statement to us, exclusively at the Mojo story, has to be seen in the larger context of the kind of statements he has been making. They're also very significant because remember, Pakistan's official stated position made by the previous government was that after the abrogation of 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, it would not resume dialogue till something changed on that front. Nawaz Sharif has not made a reference to that as being any sort of precondition. Instead, he's expressing the hope that he wished Prime Minister Modi was here, and he is through us in the media making this big exclusive comment saying that he looks forward to an opportunity to sit down directly with the Prime Minister in the not too distant future. Now, of course, in India, the concern remains one: terrorism, terrorism, terrorism. And as I said, Mr. Jaishankar is expected to focus on that in his speech. But here at the Punjab Chief Minister's residence, the fact that Nawaz Sharif has issued this statement hours before Jaishankar is to arrive for the SCO summit is certainly not without significance and will be seen coupled with all of the other rather intriguing statements he's been making. We'll give you a sense of where we're standing. You can see the building behind me. This is the Punjab Chief Minister's office here in the city of Lahore, and with Anup Jha on the ground. This is Barkha for Mojo Story with this big exclusive statement from Nawaz Sharif.
You heard that report, you saw that report in which Barkha is explaining what Nawaz Sharif told her, that he always advocated good relationships and he would have wanted Prime Minister Modi to be there. What is the sense you make? He didn't, of course, speak about Kashmir, but he talked about other things, that he said that hope Modi and us can talk in not so distant future. Uh, uh, Clearly, an important statement made by Nawaz Sharif. He's not holding any office. He's not the prime minister of that country, but he's a key player and perhaps stronger than Shehbaz Sharif.
I think let me pick up sharply from the statement that Barkhadat read out, in which Nawaz Sharif is believed to have said that the day is not going to be too far when he and Prime Minister Modi will sit together to discuss the issues of India and Pakistan. I don't think that this is an imaginary statement or just a wish list coming out from Nawaz Sharif. My belief is that some kind of groundwork is going on behind the curtains. Some work of some kind of work between some key interlocutors representing the both sides is going on, which is eliciting, which is building this confidence, which is being reflected in the statement of Nawaz Sharif. My also feeling is that India had a number of options about the SCO summit that's taking place today in Islamabad. India could have sent a junior minister there. India could have decided to abstain altogether from the summit, as India did last month with the meeting of the SCO trade ministers that was also happening in Islamabad. So India deciding to send the external affairs minister, Mr. Jaishankar, to go to Islamabad is product of some kind of hard work that's going behind the curtains, that is trying to steadily and slowly build some kind of confidence between India and Pakistan. And the both sides don't want to make it too public or raise expectations or do something which is not acceptable to their constituents also, which can have potential to derail the whole process. So I think there is a lot of appetite in Pakistan at the moment that enough is enough. This is perhaps the longest time in the history of India and Pakistan, the longest in terms of when there are no proper diplomatic relationships, when there is no regular dialogue. Even when the Bangladesh war happened, so the hiatus was not this long. When the Kargil conflict happened, so the gap was not this long. This has been the longest time since there has been no diplomatic proper contact. There has not been proper regular dialogue between the two countries. The trade stands suspended, and I don't think this can go on for too long. So some kind of exercise is certainly going on to bring things back to normalcy, step by step, to build digestibility, political digestibility of that process between the core constituents of the two parties in two countries.
So what you are telling us is that it is not a statement that has just been made by Nawaz Sharif. There is a context to it. Perhaps
Yes.
back channels have been working to try and create
That's
a.
my belief. I mean, otherwise, such a confident statement. Two things which I can read from here. One is that the external affairs minister deciding to go to. So I completely understand that this is a multilateral platform. There is not going to be any bilateral. So wherever this meeting would have happened, the actors from India and Pakistan would have attended. This is completely understandable. But a number of multilateral events have happened in India and Pakistan over the last 9 years, and this is first time in 9 years that Indian external affairs minister is traveling. First time in 10 years actually. I think Sushma Swaraj had gone to Islamabad in 2015. So Indian external affairs minister, I mean, Jaishankar is not just a minister; he's spokesperson of Prime Minister Modi's ideological outlook on the world relations, on relations with our neighbors, and relations with Pakistan. So some kind of work. So I don't want to define that what exactly, but some kind of work is going on that has brought things to this situation that they are at least able to visit Pakistan. Indian side is at least able to visit Pakistan.
But Zafar Saab, clearly the expectations are very low. External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar has already made it clear that there's no bilateral happening. Uh, he's going there to take part in the SCO summit, which is a multilateral
I
forum.
think the outcome that
Also, there
one
are
would.
indications that he could perhaps take part in the dinner hosted by Shehbaz Sharif later today. Do you think there is a scope of ice breaking actually?
The ice breaking moment has already happened. So
Well,
I understand that, in terms of any agreement, in terms of any bilateral, the expectations are really very poor. The point that I want to make is that India deciding to send external affairs minister to Islamabad to attend the SCO meeting is already an ice-breaking moment, because in India-Pakistan relationship, symbolism makes a lot of difference. That matters a lot. That sense, because our societies, follow a kind of top-down kind of approach. That if there is something is changing at the top, so a number of institutions, actors, people down the bottom line start following that. So if external affairs minister goes to Pakistan, so some kind of thinking starts percolating down the line that there is a time probably for talking to each other. So I think that ice-breaking moment has already happened.
but what can happen here on? I know we know what our analysis has been. Uh, we know our analysis says that perhaps Jaishankar will be focused on terrorism in his speech, and Ishaq Dar has already said that Kashmir remains the core issue. So those are the stands between the two sides that have always remained there. So, what can be that meeting ground where that small headway can be made ahead?
I think these are two principal issues which both countries have, and I can see Pakistan a little bit climbing down. Pakistan not making Article 370, August 5, or Kashmir entirely as the core issue, as a precondition for meeting India full scale or halfway even. But India will completely stick to terrorism. And there was a little unpleasant moment when Bilawal Bhutto had come to this Goa summit. So everything had gone out very well, but then he chose to spoke to the Indian journalists where he spoke against India a lot. And then the Indian side had to respond, calling Bilawal Bhutto as a spokesperson of the terrorists. So, and saying that, victims of terrorists and perpetrators of terrorists cannot sit together. So, what has changed since then is that the victim of terrorism is currently at a place which has been described by himself as perpetrator of terrorism. So what can happen beyond that is, as I said, that there can't be any direct agreement between India and Pakistan that we can expect on a bilateral happening on the margins of the SCO summit. But I think a handshake, a hello, a photograph can say, can convey a lot of message, and there is some kind of feeling in India and Pakistan strongly, as I can see through a number of things that are happening. And December, November, December, as winter picks up, that's the really very appropriate time to talk about that. That is climate change, that is air pollution, and that are a number of things which do not recognize the border between India and Pakistan, which also do not recognize that what is the current status of relationship between the two countries, which affect both countries equally, particularly the north of India and Pakistan entirely. So there can be some kind of, I'm not saying that breakthrough at this summit, because SCO is one of those international forums where India and Pakistan are together, and where climate change is one of the key agendas on the table. So they can make use of that because that is of mutual interest. Terrorism will always remain a key core interest from
Yeah.
the Indian side. So just a photograph, just at 1 minute of bilateral where only two are standing or two are sitting together would be fair enough to make a new beginning in the relationship between two countries.
Right. I also wanted to ask you about the situation in Pakistan currently. We know that the government there is not so, so credible at the moment, because the perception is, the feeling is that Imran Khan is the most popular leader. He's in jail. It was a rigged election, some say. So does the Pakistan dispensation at this point in time have that capacity and strength to take a step forward, if at all, even
Okay.
if it wants to do that?
I think this challenge from Indian side has always remained over last 75, 80 years, and this is likely to remain in future as well. Whenever there is a political government in Pakistan, and we start thinking like if there were military more, in control of power, that would be a great opportunity because ultimately they call the shots there. But when there is military, we are still not able to make a very great, go ahead. For example, Musharraf's time, it was an absolute military rule in Pakistan. He controlled everything, and I mean, there wasn't any major headway. There were small things like line of control was open for trade and travel. A few other things had happened, but the kind of ultimate breakthrough that we had expected did not happen even in Musharraf under control. And when Imran Khan was there was very little development even with Imran Khan in control. And Bajwa doctrine that has been widely hailed in India, in the strategic community in India, that Bajwa wanted economic development and good relationships with India, that did not make any headway. So the kind of Pakistan we have will have to deal with the same kind of Pakistan. But one silver lining here is that, as you can also see, that some of the developments over last 10 years clearly suggest that Prime Minister Modi and Nawaz Sharif share some kind of good chemistry with each other. There are a number of evidences of that. That when Prime Minister Modi, around 9 years back, when he had gone to Kabul to attend this Heart of Asia conference, he decided to make an abrupt, landing on the way, and he went to Lahore to meet with Nawaz Sharif, greet him on his granddaughter's wedding. Of course, there have been problems from Pakistani side that that moment could not be sustained. A number of other occasions also that when Mr. Nawaz Sharif had a surgery, he had to undergo a surgery in London. The last call he wanted to make was to Prime Minister Modi. He wanted to talk to him, and Prime Minister Modi wished him well. On Modi's inauguration on June 9th earlier this year, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif sent out a very, very warm message, even as at that day the discussion in India was going on that BJP was expecting 370 seats, but they have come down, to 240 seats. But Nawaz Sharif's tweet to Modi said that the kind of mandate you have got suggests that India is solidly behind you. I mean, he went a little overboard to greet Modi and express his sentiments. So,
Right.
so in that context, the kind of personal chemistry that Modi and Nawaz Sharif share, and I can say not in many details on the television show, that the kind of trusted interlocutors the both sides have to talk to each other. I think this is a good moment to build trust at the highest level in two countries.
Right. Zafar Sahab, I do get that sense when you say that India has to deal with Pakistan, whatever leadership, whichever government is in place in Pakistan. But what I was
Yeah.
trying to ask you is the internal situation in Pakistan. The credibility of Pakistani government and its army has taken a beating in the last 2 years.
Yes.
Are they in a position now to take a call, to take a step? Because
Well,
the perception is that they are not a credible government, they are not a credible dispensation, they've come as a result of a rigged election.
Well, in the first place, we should not accept a major breakthrough which needs a national mandate or a national support at all levels. That's not something that we should expect at the moment. What we are looking at is, resumption of some kind of working relationship between two countries, some kind of positive movement between two countries. I think for that the material that is available in Pakistan, that is sufficient to give a push to that kind of situation emerging.
Right.
So we'll have to deal with the kind of Pakistan that we have. But one thing I can say, I don't know. I'll have to stick my neck out to say, because that could be hugely unpopular statement as well. If we want to have a kind of Pakistan with which we would like to deal, probably we can play a greater role in building a Pakistan of that kind. So we'll have to, overlook a number of difficulties and play a bigger role. That let's build a Pakistan of that kind, which India would like to have in its neighborhood.
Right. And lastly, Zafar Sahab, there is a context again to all of this. That is the election that took place in Jammu and Kashmir. Happened in a peaceful environment. A
Yes.
democratically elected government will be sworn in tomorrow, will come to
Yes.
power. And this is happening after the abrogation of Article 370. One of the things that we've been hearing from Pakistan is the reversal of the decision that was made on August 5, 2019. Do you think it is also something that will impact the relationship between the two countries? Either way, the conduct of elections in J&K and now a popular government that will come to power now.
Well, this is a very important discussion, but at this stage, I'm reminded of a Jammu and Kashmir politician of the 1980s. So he
Yeah.
would make sort of statements, and people would ask that this was something highly imaginary and this did not have anything to do with the practical implication. He said, no, 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 you have to understand this was an LC. So somebody asked that what is this LC is. He said this is for local consumption. So
Right.
you see what has happened. I mean, this internal constitutional change that has happened in Jammu and Kashmir. One is that ever since the beginning, Pakistan never recognized this arrangement between Jammu and Kashmir and the Union. I mean, post accession, everything that evolved after the accession in terms of constitutional arrangements between Jammu and Kashmir and the Union of India, Pakistan never ever recognized that. Once Pakistan never recognized the relationship, so there is very little to object to its existence or its removal. That's number one. Number two is that there is a general feeling within India, in Pakistan, and in number of countries, a number of powerful, important, major countries in the world, that India's judiciary is an institution which is widely respected everywhere. So when this thing happened, the abrogation of Article 370 happened, everyone in Jammu and Kashmir, the political parties, they took an essentially political battle to the judiciary, to the Supreme Court, and then they started saying that we believe in the ultimate wisdom of the judicial institutions of India. Now, the Supreme Court has put its stamp on the abrogation of Article 370. So, Pakistan will keep on saying about August 2019 in terms of, what its local constituency wants to hear. But in terms of engaging with India, I don't think that Pakistan is in any manner in a position to put forth forth a condition before India that you restore Article 370, and then we will talk to you.
Right. We'll have to leave it here, Zafar Saab. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for joining us and for giving your insights. Obviously, you have so much experience about India, Pakistan, and the relation between the two countries. And you have been reporting extensively on that as well as the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Thanks so much for
Thank you
coming to
very much.
and thanks to all our audiences for joining in and for watching the Mojo Story. Thanks so much.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.